Good morning, Year 10 students. Good morning, Year 10 parents. It's a principal's update for you about the specific situation we've got in Year 10 around a number of students, in fact 35 students and some staff required to self-isolate after a positive COVID case of a student in Year 10. Now, you'd be aware of the fact that from the news, we've actually seen 375,000 students this week across the country in bubble groups be forced to self-isolate, especially under the new COVID Delta variant. And you'd also probably picked up from the news the fact that Gavin Williamson, the Secretary of State for Education, has come out to say quite rightly and understandably that we can't continue to go through and keep sending students home as part of bubbles. Clearly those rules are Department for Education rules, and therefore as head teachers we're waiting to find out how and what are the next stages of where the process the government and the Department for Health are going to help schools deal with the process of restricting and reducing COVID cases within school. So we don't want students to go home at all. We don't wish to use large bubbles, and we work tirelessly, and I say we, but specifically Mr. Chapman, Miss Grant and the wider team work absolutely tirelessly to try and reduce down the number of students that are impacted by a positive case notified to us from parents and from a child as well. So we'll have to continue using the bubble system, which means that students will be isolating for those 10 days, but we'll be looking to clearly bring them back once those 10 days are over, and also continue to work with students in school to minimise any further options of a spread if that is the case from Year 10. So what's going to be going on? First of all, lateral flow tests. Okay, so lateral flow tests in school. All Year 10 today, for those that have got obviously part of the normal testing permission, those that aren't exempt, will be going through and doing a lateral flow test. We're reopening our lateral flow test centre. It's already open as a single booth, but we'll be reopening our large scale testing today. That's actually probably in line with where the government are going to go with the new procedures of schools. We'll also be issuing all Year 10 in school today with additional lateral flow tests to allow them to go on to daily testing at home. Now, it is absolutely vital and imperative that students, okay, who aren't exempt, do the lateral flow tests at home. I know it's not very nice, I know it's a pain, but it is absolutely important. And, you know, even though the accuracy of doing it at home may be reduced, it is really important that we take the time to do it, that we really focus on making sure we get the back of the mouth with detail. I know that's not nice, it makes you gag, and up the nose to increase that accuracy at home. By doing it over that daily, it would help us to minimise the chances of somebody with asymptomatic symptoms, which we know we've seen increased numbers within children, spreading it to other students who may be symptomatic, obviously within the year groups, and ultimately lend to more students going home. So again, for those people who are isolating at home at the moment, I know that's frustrating. I know many parents will want their children to go on to a daily test of lateral flow test and return to school. And I do think it's probably where the government are going to go, either after July or from the start of September. But for the current rules, we are not allowed to do that, and any student who's part of that close contact has to self-isolate for those 10 days, and so I'm really sorry about that. The other thing that parents can do to remind you again is that we're seeing that symptoms, and those students that are showing symptoms of COVID are very different to those in adults. We're so used to talking about loss of smell, we're talking about the cough and the persistent cough and dry cough. Well, actually in children we're actually seeing that it's very different. We're seeing things like the stomach ache as quite a common one, the headache, and the feeling sick as well. Now, of course, they're very common and general symptoms for other conditions, and equally, as we all know from a student not wishing to go to school, or I feel a bit ill today, they're the classic symptoms. However, I appreciate as a parent that we want to send our children to school, but if your child has those type of symptoms, what I'd really please request is that you keep your child at home for that 24 to 48 hours. If it's persisting, go and see and get a PCR test. They're so easy to get at the moment to find out whether or not it could be related. As I say, at the moment, all of the cases that we've had in school, or those students from our school have had obviously COVID at home who've actually got symptoms, are all expressing it in things like the sustained headache and the feeling sick as well. So please do keep them at home. I know it's difficult for those 24 to 48 hours, but in the long term it means actually we know the chances are they will return to school, and equally it minimises the risk that they actually come in, they may potentially have COVID, and they end up taking out large number of students, which obviously not only impacts on your child but is impacting on the rest of the the year group and the progress of those other students as well. So collectively together as a whole school body and a family, we need to work to make sure that we can continue working and operating effectively together in this challenging time with the increase recently of the Delta variant around. Year 10 assessments, we've had lots of emails quite rightly and contacts from parents and from students of isolating students in year 10 of how will they be doing their end of year assessments. So I reassure you that those end of year assessments will continue in school for those that are here, and for those on self-isolation you need to continue to revise as well as complete the work that's been set to you, and then your assessments will begin across the week of Monday the 12th of July. So you'll be sent the details of which exams are on, end of year assessments are on which day across that week. So that will come out to you by the end of this week, by tomorrow and into Monday next week. You'll have that information to know when your those assessments are, but it will be across that week of Monday the 12th of July they'll continue. What that does have an impact on is the parents subject evening, which was going to be a Firefly virtual meeting where students and teachers have the chance to meet with parents as well online. Now, clearly, with those assessments being pushed back and the moderation that has to happen across the whole year group afterwards, teachers will not have the data to be able to talk directly and specifically the data to evidence your child's progress across this year. And of course, given the challenges of being in school and out of school, it is absolutely important that we're able to communicate to you very effectively where your child is at and clearly where your child needs to go over the next few months into year 11 and the target set from year 11 onwards as well. So consequently and sadly, I'll be postponing that evening. I won't be cancelling it, we are postponing it, and we're postponing it into the new academic year. That means that teachers will be working really, really hard and tirelessly marking over the next weeks and obviously post the 12th and the return of the isolating students to ensure that all those extra assessments are marked and moderated across the year group and included within a report coming to you by the end of term. Within that report, we'll also make sure there is clear work guides and also targets across the year group of what you should be doing between now and year 11 to make sure you're starting back in the new GCSE year group absolutely ready and flying on success towards your GCSE year. Now, in that final GCSE year, we're already hearing from the government, which is very positive. It's earlier than it has been the last 2 years, that they're recognising that your child in year 10 has been impacted. It might seem a bit strange because, of course, we know they've been impacted, but the government have formally now said they are aware that year 10 students have been impacted and will remain impacted by the COVID situation in their GCSEs at the end of next summer, or the start of next summer. And what that means is, it means that they're recognising there has to be some changes to what would be returning to the normal GCSE based examinations. Now, we don't know exactly what that is yet. That detail will start to come out hopefully very soon, and we're chasing that as head teachers this side of the summer. But I am expecting it to be the fact that there will be examinations. We saw that, the fact that with the teacher assessed grades this year, that in actual fact for every one GCSE exam that was cancelled externally, students in fact end up doing about 10 exams in school to try and form the teacher assessed grades. And as a result of that, I really distinctly know that they will have and go on to do some form of exams and normal GCSE exams at the end of the summer, or the end of the summer term at the start of June onwards. And so what will happen as part of that then, I imagine there'll be additional areas of maybe even the role of teachers' views and teacher assessed grades, but equally the role of wider coursework and maybe potential other assessments that might happen outside of an exam hall, but across the next year we have. As we get more information, I will keep you updated of what's going on and making sure that you can clearly and your child understands exactly what they need to be doing and how they need to work, and will support you the whole way through. So quite a lot of an update there that's coming to you as part of not only the website but also via email to you, and also as a transcript so you can see exactly all the information against those key points. So lateral flow test occurring in school, additional lateral flow tests being sent home, end of year assessments for year 10 continuing for the current year group, and for those that are on self-isolation starting on Monday or continuing on Monday the 12th of July, and the postponement of the year 10 parents evening from the 13th of July through into the start of September. So thanks very much. As always, please do make sure that you reach out to us. I remind you, even though the parents evening's been postponed, you can absolutely get in contact as always with your child's tutor, who is absolutely the first person and the most important person to understand how your child is getting on in school and what they need to do, and also can then go and liaise with teachers if you've got specific concerns for you. Their email addresses and their phone numbers are on our website, and the link has been sent to you in the letter. And I'll just remind you the fact that obviously as teachers, they're teaching all day, so they can't answer the phone, and sometimes their emails, but what I do request is that teachers respond within 48 hours to you, arranging that follow-up call or Teams meeting. And I do encourage you the fact that the use of Teams is so easy for us to have that face-to-face video meeting with you if you need that. So please do reach out if you have the concerns. And as always, you can reach hold of me at any time via principalpa@auea.co.uk or via my PA Amanda Narn on 0121 380 0573. So please do get in contact if you've got any concerns or questions, and I look forward to seeing you very shortly. Take care. Thank you.